imagine learning how to be a masterful connector, a masterful of how to effortlessly connect with people around you, anywhere, anytime, any place, with anyone. So, and also imagine, what if you could discover some basic skills and even examples of how to really work on having the ideal mindset to attract people into your life, into your business, versus having to hunt them down, bag them, throwing over your shoulder, unwittingly, and toting them home. Because when you get to the house, you may have them in your trophy room, but they're dead. All right. So anyway, so if you answered yes to any of those questions, and you want to, learn basic skills around connecting, listening, generating curiosity, and really attracting people into your life and business, you're in the right place at the right time. So this is the Foundation Training 101 series. I'm Robert Arthur, as I mentioned, here in Granbury, Texas. I'm joined by one of our captains and close friends and full-time business partners from Kauai, Miss Bethanny Crouse. Are you there?
I'm here, Robert. Thanks so much for having me join you again. So much fun doing these webinars with you.
Thank you. And, this is an invaluable tool. It's priceless, actually, because it saves you time. We can leverage our experience and along with your experience and really build your business much more effectively. This is again, Foundation Training, module number 4 of 6, discovering the skills and mindset necessary to ignite your business. So what are the 3 different pieces that we're going to be diving into today, Miss Bethanny?
Well, as you see here on your screen, everybody, it's easy as ABC, and it's going to be asking, listening, and building relationships. We're going to discuss all 3 of those categories.
Yes, and they're all crucial foundation skills, my friends. All right, so we begin all of our foundation training webinars here with some fun stories. This little story is from Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. If you haven't read the series or listened to the audio series, would highly, highly recommend you do that. So you're tromping through the woods. Always picture live oaks and hardwoods in my homeland of home state of Louisiana, I should say. And you're walking through the woods and you hear the sound of someone sawing, kind of raggedly, but they're sawing away. So you keep walking up toward the sound. You want to say hi to this individual, whoever it is, and you get up to this individual, and his back is to you. So you kind of walk around and you say hi. You don't want to surprise him. You never know. And he looks up. His face is all red. He's sweating profusely, and he's sawing on a significant oak tree, the kind you see in your picture here. And so you say, "Hey, sir, what are you doing?" He looks up, kind of irate, kind of short-tempered, and said, "Hey, can't you see? I'm sawing this tree down." And you say, I see that. And he goes back to sawing, and he's sawing away, he's sweating, red face, and you notice he's not getting very far into the tree. Again, look at your picture here. And you finally, you can only suffer it so long because you realize his saw is like as dull as a butter knife. And you notice the sharpener is laying over he has a toolbox actually, and some tools. And you say, "Sir," he kind of looks up again. "Yes, what do you want?" He said, "Sir, just a suggestion." And he kind of looks at you all kind of upset. He said, "Just a suggestion, if you might consider sharpening your saw, and you would zip right through the tree and you'd be back home with your firewood before no time." And the guy looks up, looks over at his saw, looks at his toolbox, looks back at you in the tree, and he said, "Can't you tell? I don't have time." And he gets right back to sawing the tree. And so I know it's a kind of a fun story. It's kind of a ludicrous story. Most people would not, be that, low intelligence. But the moral of the story is many, many individuals in our business, thankfully none of us on the line, many people do not spend time sharpening the saw, meaning working on their skills, working on their ability to communicate, working on their ability to ask effective opening questions, much less their ability to uncover people's dreams and their why and what drives them in life and business. So Beth and I would like to challenge each and every one of you, if you got nothing else out of this training today, is commit to sharpening your saw on a daily basis. And in this context today, Bethanny, you and I talked about this on our pre-brief. Bethanny, we really want to drive home the fact today, many times today, that one of the number one skills is the ability to uncover and to uplift other people's greatness. Bethanny, thoughts around that?
Absolutely. It's so important when you're building a team to really find everyone's greatnesses and strengths and build upon those instead of concentrating on weaknesses. So you've taught me that very well, Robert.
Well, thank you. And even, building a team, training, mentoring, prospecting, and all the different situations here, it's about uncovering what drives them, what motivates them, what's important to them. So here are some basic keys. So Bethanny, you want to kind of summarize these little 5 steps here?
Yeah, absolutely. So keys to effortless connecting. Having a genuine interest in others, asking the right questions and being a good listener. And then, of course, your posture and attitude is everything, having energy and enthusiasm and being excited about what you're sharing with them. And, they say, Robert, that when you're talking to somebody on the phone and they're smiling, you can hear it, in their voice. So just smile and be happy and just be a positive person and connect with others.
Yeah, amen. And you attract who you become. We attract people that had the like energy. So if you want people that have interested in other people and people that are good listeners, people that are positive, inspirational leaders, then step into that place as well. So awesome. One of our key nuggets, and I pulled this off Wikipedia, one of our topics today is generating, you're going to hear this term several times in the next few minutes, is look at the bottom of your screen, if you will. Master connectors / prospectors, they have the ability to generate curiosity. I know the picture, it's kind of an interesting picture, but you see the lady is leaning in because whatever the man is saying or the manner he's saying it in is generating somebody leaning in and they're wanting to know more. And I love the second part of the title up on top. This is from Wikipedia, curiosity, but it's jumped down to the second line first, or the third line. It generates an emotion which causes a thirst for knowledge. How many of you want to do business in such a way that people lean in and they're literally thirsty for what you have to share with them? I know in a moment, Bethanny's going to share a story like that happened on the beach yesterday. And we're going to share several examples today of how that happens in our conversations. And if you look at the first 2 lines, I love the words. It talks about caring for other people. You see from Latin, it means a careful, diligent, leaning in, people diligently taking the time, stopping to listen to what we have to share with them. They're thirsty for what we have. So Bethanny, any comments around this fun little introduction to generating curiosity from your experience?
It just makes it so much fun. To me, I love to make people curious, about what we've got, because I just feel like Isogenics is for everyone on, both spectrums, the health and the wealth side. And so I just love to make people curious. It's so much fun for me.
Yeah, isn't it though? Especially when it comes to some of the social media environments, especially Facebook, and even in normal conversations with your networking or just at your next family get together, whatever it looks like, to be saying things and sharing things in such a way that people hear a snippet there or a snippet there, and they have a need. It's filling a need that they want, and they lean in and ask. And that one little nugget, speaking of Facebook, is that one little nugget for those listening. If you're using the word Isogenics and even names of products and links, you might want to reconsider that. Remember, generating curiosity is not, uncovering the whole apple cart. It's just showing one little piece of the apple. Okay. So in a moment, the slide following this, we're going to give you some tried and proven little, if you will, acronyms. We call them flows that will help you really learn how to even highly effectively engage with people that you're talking with. And one of the questions we want to ask you right now is this: why not first determining whether, number one, that if this person that you're looking at to possibly partner with or possibly, enroll, become a customer, why not see if they already share your values? Why not determine first and foremost, before you ever even invite them to look, whether they're health conscious, whether they actually like talking to people, or whether they hate people, or whether they're, a chain smoker and they have no earthly interest in doing anything different, or whether they're, have all these other habits, and you see that you have some solutions for some of their needs. Maybe they're living check to check or even below check to check, surviving, barely hanging on, but are they successful but have no time freedom? Why not first of all see if they have an interest in doing anything different? All right. And number two, once you've established whether they have some of those values and needs, whether they're willing to act on that, okay, you might say next. Or if they fulfill some of those values, then why not then learn how to effectively determine whether the time is right in their life to act on their health and or to act and do something different when it comes to generating revenue. So Bethanny, what does this slide kind of represent to you, and how do you apply it to our real life conversations as well?
Well, Robert, one of the things that this slide makes me think of is a lesson that you taught me, I guess a year or so ago, about, when you're talking with someone and you're deciding whether, or determining, whether they have similar values as you, think about this. It's a really easy question to ask yourself. Would I want to invite this person over for dinner, to have dinner with my family, to be around my children and my husband? If not, it's probably not a good match, for a business partner for you. If you really like the person and you have similar values, then yeah, of course you would want to have them over for dinner. So that's just a really easy question that I want everybody to kind of think of, because I always think of that now.
Yeah, it's so simple, isn't it?
It is. And then besides that, what else this slide means to me is just, it's a matter of saving us time and not dragging people along. What's that saying, Robert, where they say, I'd rather have 2 people to run with than 100 people to drag. I know that's not exactly the way it goes, but think about that. I do feel like in the beginning with Isagenix, I was dragging people. Now I've got, a few quality people that I'm running with, and it's so much more fun.
Yeah, it's 100 times more fun, isn't it? So it's, it's so much more. How many of you wanted the business to be fun versus getting up and kind of, oh my goodness, here it goes, another day to trying to force this to happen? Turn it around, and as you're having fun, look for people. When you have people coming into your life and business to share your values, you're having fun together, okay? And you're not dragging anyone. So I just want to remind all of you of that very fact. And you don't want everybody in your business. I want to remind you of that too, okay? All right. So we're going to give you some tools, if you will, of how to determine whether they share the same values you do and whether they are in the looking zone, we call it. I know one of Bethanny's favorite ones is form, and I use form or CAPI. I'm going to cover some of the example of what CAPI looks like. Bethanny's going to do a couple of examples of what the form method. And again, when it comes to scripts and little acronyms like this, guys, I learned a long time ago that we have to make anything our own. Okay. But that being said, this, even if you're on this webinar right now and you find it fairly easy to connect and engage with people, remember, it's not about what works as much as it's about what duplicates. It took me hearing that several times to really get this, and I want to drive this point home. One benefit of using little acronyms like this, like, as you're about to hear some examples of Forum and CAPI, is that it gives that brand new person coming in your team today, tomorrow, next week, next month, it gives them, if you will, kind of a platform to stand on and kind of a gentle reminder of a proven little methodology to really uncover. Remember a while ago at the beginning of the webinar, we talked about, Beth and I were talking about the number one skill is learning the skill of uncovering people's greatness. And these little acronyms, if you will, or scripts, build the foundation, kind of, or the skeleton, and then we put the muscle on there and the skin and the clothes. So we fill that in, but it gives you a place to stand on for you and your new people. So Bethanny, number one, why do you like using the Forum little flow or acronym? And give us an example, if you will, my friend.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I have to let everyone know where I learned this from. Robert had sent me a gift a few years back, and it was a book called Owning Yourself by Paula Pritchard. Many of you already have it, but I strongly recommend you read the book if you don't have it already, because it's fabulous. Paula Pritchard is a wonderful person in the network marketing industry with a ton of experience and very successful. And again, the book is called Owning Yourself. So that's where I learned the Forum method. So the way I was going about sharing Isagenix before was just, using the VV, the verbal vomit all over. I just wanted to tell everybody about Isagenix. And then when I learned the Forum method, it really, it gave me a way to connect properly with people and to, have a great conversation. And so just to give you an example, if I meet somebody, let's say I'm on the beach, okay? I'm on the beach and, smile at a lady. Hi. Oh, is that your child out there in the ocean? Oh, yeah, there's mine over there surfing. So we're talking family. Is that your only, child, or do you have more? Oh, you've got some over there on the other side of the pier. Great. Oh, what do you do? So, asking them questions about themselves. What do you do? Where do you live? Just getting to know them. And then, throughout the conversation, obviously recreation is going to come up. You might say, oh, so do you surf too? Oh, okay. You do a lot of hiking. Great. That's fabulous. And then to share the message. So sometime within those first three acronyms, the FOR, I always find a way, just by genuinely connecting with people about their family, occupation, and recreation, I find a way to share the message about Isagenix. It could be, they say, well, yeah, we're just, really taking it easy this vacation. We're not even exercising, and normally we're animals in the gym. And at that point, I can share, oh, that's awesome. I work with a lot of athletes. I've got something that you might be interested in. Or it could be a matter of, we're talking about how my children are homeschooled, and the main reason why we did start homeschooling was because Lila had trouble focusing in school. And, they may say, oh, yeah, my son, really struggles with focusing. And I say, oh, well, I've got Lila on my all organic superfoods, and it has tremendously helped her with focusing. I mean, it's just made her a different kid. So I'm generating curiosity and answering pretty much what they're already telling me about their family. And so I just find there's always a way to share the message about Isagenix with them if I go through those first three acronyms.
I love it. So basically, in essence, you're making a friend first, okay, and you're building a relationships. I'm assuming, Bethanny, if you will, kind of look deeper into this for 1 second. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming you're also determining whether they even share some of the same values that you and your family have.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. And you're also determining, would I want them to come over for dinner?
Right, exactly. Do I like these people?
Yeah, exactly. It's
yeah,
kind of crazy.
Yeah, you got it.
I love it. So, and Cappy, Bethany acknowledged Paula Pritchard, only yourself. Cappy, I'm acknowledging Susan Sly, Suzanne Hart. I think Suzanne Hart was probably the main uh, kind of formulator of this little acronym. She's one of our millionaires up in the Ontario area. So is Susan Sly. And an example of this is that we all know, we've heard the word connect, 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 connection, build a friend, build a relationship. So what I'm doing with connection, maybe I use farm, my first three, family, occupation, recreation, under the connection. One of my beautiful things to think about is when you meet somebody, I'm looking for things I have in common. So Bethany, man, I see you guys love the beach. I see you're out here a lot. Your kids must just be in hog heaven here on Kauai.
Oh, they absolutely love it, Robert.
Oh man, I love it. My grandkids, this is their favorite place too, is coming to the beach. So Bethany, you and I met Chris earlier, but you and Chris seem really health conscious. So what I'm doing, guys, is I'm uncovering I'm finding a common ground to stand on, and whether I'm obviously right now we're using the beach because Bethany's there all the time. Uh, she lives there on Kauai, and I also want to bring home to everyone that one of the keys to effectively recruiting on even social media, Facebook, for example, is under whether using the form under form, you can discover about their family and occupation and even recreation by the pictures they post. So you can get through the first three acronyms of form pretty quickly by referring to their post. And the same with Cappy. So if you're on Facebook, you would mention a timeline picture, mention a picture of the family, and look for pictures or even things under the about section that you and, in my case, Joy and I share with Bethany. So Bethany, I noticed that we both love the water. We're into sailing. We love people. My goodness, then I would go right into the A, which is affirm. Bethany, I just, with your personality and love for people, I can see why you're so successful at what you do. Okay. So that's why Cappy's kind of a fun, maybe even alongside form, because remember, we all need to become more effective at affirming, complimenting, uplifting people around us. And that opens the door to our own hearts, much less other people's hearts. Okay. And then I love using the permission a lot. And a lot of my team, if you worked with me any amount of time, maybe you're even smiling at this one because a lot of times, even with Bethanny, how many times have I asked you, Bethanny, are you open to a suggestion?
Just about every day.
Yeah. And Bethany does the same for me. Which but here's the key. I'm getting goosebumps because this is really a cool because it means so much to me. So I've given Bethany, I verbally, publicly said, Bethany, you have my permission. I want to grow. I want to be better. I want to be a better leader, better communicator, better mentor to you and my team. Bethany, you have my permission to give me suggestions and good feedback. And Bethany has given me permission to do the same. So I want to expand it into your prospecting world. If you're on Facebook, Bethany, would you be okay if I share with you a possible answer for you to travel even more and possibly to maybe to help people at even a higher level with what you do. So it could be any number of scenarios when it comes to asking permission of your prospective customer and or business partner. And and number four is the I in Cappy, and that's simply in our terminology we call it booking the look. So Bethany, would you be open? I would love about a 20 to maybe 30-minute window of time, and I can run through, I can go over with you what we're doing to see if you have a possible connection to the journey that we're on. So what's better for you? Today is Tuesday, Bethany. How about you this evening or tomorrow? Then you go right into what we call the three-step system. And remember, if you haven't seen this, please go back and review some of these modules. And I do want to remind everyone, when you go to successteamblog.com, again, successteamblog.com, there's a newer tab there. Remind me, Bethany, what's the exact term verbiage on our new tab?
It's right into, let's see.
think it's foundation training now, but it's on the
Yes.
second. It's on the
Yep, it's
second row.
foundation training, and it's on the second row at the top. It's right next to archive training to the right of it, and it's called foundation training.
I love it. So guys, in case you're wondering, a success team, if you're brand new on this webinar, some of you may be, then our main, if you will, team, there's so many wonderful resources, ISA movie, isunixbusiness.com, isaproduct.com. Our, if you will, team support site is successteamblog.com, successteamblog.com. And again, we're putting these webinar recordings as you're on today, we're putting those in a wonderful little library for you, okay? And as Bethanny said, it's on the second row. It's called Foundation Training. So anyway, so CAPI and FARM. Any other comments, Bethanny, on these two wonderful little, we call them flows or acronyms?
No, I love them, Robert. I think it just makes it easy for the brand new person to find a way to make sure that they're just, connecting in a true, authentic, genuine way.
Oh, I totally agree. True, authentic, genuine way. How many of you want to be more in your truth, to be more authentic, and be more genuine in your conversations? I do. I do. So this is a very simple slide, but I would say one of the most profound, if you really get this, what we're saying here. And I showed this to Bethanny in the preview, and we're kind of saying, okay, Bethanny, where should we put it? Should we put it here or here or here? And we finally realized it doesn't matter where we put it. We just want to drive this into, hopefully plant this in your heart, if you will. This is the basic core human need. When we get this in our heart and we acknowledge this and we do business accordingly, and the theme of this training today is connecting, prospecting, listening. The basic core human need is I want to be heard. So when Bethanny is actually possibly connecting and possibly recruiting with me, what am I doing to Bethanny? I'm also listening to see if she's willing. I'm actually finding out. If I'm Bethanny's prospect, I'm asking, is she actually listening to me, or is she just cruising down her own agenda? So Bethanny, I'd love to get some other comments around this. It's a very deep slide here.
Yeah, well, as I shared with you the other day, Robert, and I'll share this with everyone else, I discovered a podcast on David Wood's AmplifiedNetworking.com, and it was by Susan Sly, and it was her second one. So there's two there with Susan, and it was all about listening. And it really made sense because, Robert, most people, as you're talking to them, they're trying to think of what their response is going to be to you. They have their own agenda in mind. And so, and I see you do this all the time. You are such a master at listening so well, where you pause after somebody's finished talking, because then you're thinking about what you're going to say. You weren't thinking about it the whole time. And, I'll be honest here, guys, I need to be better at that. So I'm working on it. It's just something where it really does show that you're genuine if you truly listen and you're not just thinking about your response all the time.
And I would go as far as to say it really sets you apart, because in this day and age, to be candid, especially when professionals are looking to something that they can fulfill a need for freedom or more income, more time, better health, people are shopping today more than ever. And one of the things, on top of their shopping list, is to find people that truly care about them. And the number one way to show people that we truly do care is to become and work on, and then work on some more, and then work on some more, your ability to pause, listen, even ask the question. So Bethanny, can you tell me, I'm not quite sure. Bethanny, here's what I heard. Was that what you truly meant? Guys, my goodness, I'm getting goosebumps again. If you can, when you can step into that place and do that more and more, it will totally set you apart, and you will begin to really connect with people on a deeper level. And this whole if you will, team building, or your organization building aspect of what we do will become so much easier. Awesome. Core basic human need. I want to be heard. Show them and listen. All right. So here's a couple fun examples, and this is real life stuff. So we could go down a whole long list, Bethany and I, and many of you on the call have similar stories. So Bethany, give us an example of maybe one or two fun little scenarios which ended in the person actually joining or deciding to act on what we offer. So jump in here first, and I'll back you up too on a couple stories.
Absolutely. Travis Fisher was trying to connect with me because he had a friend purchase 2 9-day systems for he and his wife retail. And so I told him, okay, I'll be at the beach in 10 minutes. Let's chat then. 10 minutes later, I set up my chair, got the kids all set. Waylon went out on his boogie board, Lila went out on her surfboard, and plopped down in my chair. And of course, there's another car backed right up to the beach and a lady sitting in her chair, just within ear distance of me. And I got on the phone with Travis and I said, okay, here's the situation of what I would recommend for your friend. I said, they already bought 2 9-day cleanses. I said, so at that point, and that's retail, so they spent, over $400 for those 2. Why not call that company with them, void those orders immediately, and have them share a Pacesetter pack? Together, share the Pacesetter pack and add a couple of extra cleanses if that's what they want to do. Then we can help them get their products for free. And so I'm sitting there, you know how it goes. I'm just explaining it to him. And I honestly was not even thinking about the lady that was sitting by me at all. And I hung up the phone, and her back was kind of towards me because we were facing the sun. So we were both facing the same way. So her back was towards me. She turns around in her chair and she says, okay, tell me about this cleanse you're talking about. So, she had already known the price and everything because I was going over it, in great detail with Travis of, how he could help his friends. So that's one example of mine. Why don't you give an example, Robert, and then I'll give another.
That's so much fun. And I threw in a picture. I don't have the exact picture. This is a picture. It looks to be like a Florida scenario. About a year and a half ago, I was on a family trip to a beautiful place called Hilton Head. Actually, I just played golf with interesting enough with Bethany's dad. But anyway, I finished my golf round. I was just like the picture shows here. I was getting my clubs in my car. This gentleman that was helping me get my clubs, and he was cleaning them up. I obviously gave him a nice little tip. He was very engaging, very much of a people person. He was a picture of, he was fit. Well, what caught my main attention was his, you can tell people that you're drawn to, you want to know them. Remember a while ago, if I was thinking, if I get to know this guy a little more, yeah, he'd be fun to have over for dinner. Okay. So his name was Michael Klein. And long story short, I said, Mike, again, back to I didn't have much time because he was working. He had to go get the next golfer. All I had was about maybe a minute of his time. I said, Mike, so here's what I did. I jumped right to the affirm. Remember Cappy? I connected. I looked him in the eye. I said, Mike, thanks for your help. Do a great job. I said, so I affirmed him. And then I asked the question, so Mike, do you work here full time? Do you do anything else? He said, well, I have 2 other businesses. I said, what is that? So I was just connecting with him as a person. And my radar was coming on because he's obviously an entrepreneur. He said, I do dolphin tours and fishing charter trips. And I said, really? So, and you do the golfing because, and he said, because I want to get golf for free. I said, okay, super. Then I invited him to look. I said, I work with people just like you who are entrepreneurial, who want to be able to play golf more, have more time freedom. And I'm looking for, this is one of my favorite lines, I'm looking for a key rep here in the Hilton Head area that I can work with. And would you be open to looking at earning additional income and see if it's something you connect with and we with you? And then Mike said, yeah, I'm always open, always looking. And I said, wonderful, do you have a card? He pulled out a card. It happened to be his fishing charter and dolphin tour cart. And I said, great, I'll get back with you. When I got in the car, before I did anything else, and Bethanny will smile at this one, and those of you, it's called, a lot of you, you'll be using something called, it's called My Isogenics. We use one called Work Smart, Be Smart. Before I ever left the golf course, guys, I pulled up my iPhone. I put his name, email, phone number, a note of who he was into my little follow-up system, and thus began my relationship trust building process. And it took me about 5 to 6 phone calls over about almost a year and a half process. Long story short, 3 days ago, timing was right. He went to ICE movie. He watched about 4 videos. I called him on a Friday. I went over his questions, showed 3 packages to him, introduced him to Bethanny, thus the three-way call and ISA movie. Okay. And he signed up, and now he's going to be a great business partner. Let's go back to you, Miss Bethanny.
All right, that's a great story. And yeah, Mike is amazing. It's just somebody that's entrepreneur that was, that's open and looking. So it's exciting. And so the timing is so right for him because they're slow right now. They're about to get busy. So he's got some time to put into Isogenics. It's awesome. Let's see. Well, just an example yesterday, here I am at the beach again. That's the picture here that you posted. I was on my phone, connected to my Bluetooth, and a family pulled up in a van, a large family, 5 kids, a mom, a dad, a nanny, and my husband went over, shook the guy's hand. My daughter went running over and hugged her friend, and apparently this family had met my family, and I didn't know who they were. And so I'm on a phone call. I'm actually in the middle of presenting a 3-way call, and so I just smiled and did a little wave, and they could tell I was on a call, I think, because they saw me talking, and knew I wasn't just talking to myself. Although it looks like I am just sitting there on my headset. But eventually, after the call, went over and said, I'm so excited to meet you guys. Obviously, my family. And at this point, none of my family were around. They were all in the water, so I couldn't even ask them who the people were. So I went right up to the wife, shook her hand and introduced myself and just said, yeah, seems like my family already. I'm Bethanny, and we just started chit-chatting, and I said we decided to flip-flop our day-to-day. As you probably already know, Chris homeschools the kids, and we decided to do work and school later. Although once I got to the beach, I realized I had to take care of a couple of calls for some business partners and, help them. And she said, what is it that you do? And it just kind of went from there. I believe I said I work with an all-organic superfood company. And we just absolutely love it. Our entire family uses all of the products. Boy, would it be great for your family with all of your kids. Tell me more. Tell me more. She was so excited, Robert. I didn't have a catalog there to show her or any sort of tool. The only thing I had in my car was a CD. And so I didn't have anything else to share with her, which is not like me. But by mistake, my husband had taken my tool backpack out of the car. So I had nothing in the car. So what I did was I just opened up I went to my website right on my phone, and I just showed her, what the product looks like. I discussed it with her. She ended up ordering a business builder pack, and I didn't call it the business builder pack because at this point we were just talking about how this would be so great for her family. We weren't talking about the business opportunity at all. So, and I know that's probably where it's going to end up going, but she ordered a $10.99 pack. That's $1,099, and she's adding the ISA fruits and the ISA kids to it. And she lives in Canada, and they're going home today. So timing was perfect.
Well, I love it. And a couple nuggets from Bethanny's story as well for those listening is that number one, she from Hi, how are you? Her posture was so strong and confident, Bethanny. Once you heard what her needs were, you didn't judge or get caught up in your own, walls of what you thought she could do or not do. You just say, here's the best value.
Absolutely, Robert. And, I didn't, jump right into Isogenics, right off the bat either. I did tell her what I did. I said, your family would love it. And then I talked more about her family.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, are they triplets? And she said, actually, the one is 4, the other 2 are twins, and they're 3. I was like, oh my goodness, you have your hands full. She said, plus we have the 1-year-old. I was like, oh my gosh. I said, no wonder why you have this giant van. And she said, yeah, it was the only thing that would fit all 8 of us. So, I connected with her on a mom level, just as far as I said, my hubby and I always wanted to have 5 kids, and after 2, we decided our hands were full enough. And I said, kudos to you. And then that's when I asked her, I said, I assume you stay home with the kids. She said, absolutely. And my husband's a physician. Like, oh, okay, wonderful. And, where are you from? Where do you live? And so we just connected more and more. And it was just a real genuine, heartfelt conversation. I really liked her. And obviously my kids loved her kids. And my husband liked her husband. He went right up and shook his hand, and he looked so happy to see him again. And so apparently they had met last week when I was home working. My husband had taken the kids to the beach to do a little math in the sand, and they had met that day, and I never even knew about them. So it was really exciting, and it was just a great connection, great conversation with them.
I love it. So look at your bullet points on the bottom of the slide. So Bethanny and myself, we were in an environment where there's quality people. I know last night, in case hopefully some of you heard the call, we did a leadership call every Monday night, and Drew Berman, one of our other millionaires, he said that it's kind of simplistic, I know, but be in environments where there's quality people. There's quality people on the beach in Kauai. There's quality people on a golf course in Florida. There's quality people in certain places on Facebook, if you know where to look. And we have a system to teach you that. And then look at number 2. You're open. Bethanny was open. I was open. People are open. We could have many stories from those on this call right now, listening webinar. So be open and be genuinely interested in who and what they are and what they do. Have a strong posture, meaning this, without a question of a doubt, is a mission that we're on. This can help you fulfill A, B, and C. Okay. Generate curiosity. As Bethanny said, don't jump on them like a dog would, which will show you a nice visual in a moment. And in these different scenarios, people shared similar values, and invite them to look and act. Joy and I were at a place we used to work about 2 months ago, and there's a gentleman and his wife, and they own a business called Fit Casa. And I was there with my friend who happened to be the sales director for that company, and they were talking with him about bringing an event there. And in the process, we learned that they were health conscious. They used isogenics actually a number of years ago, and they already loved the product. They just hadn't been using it for 2 years. So long story short, they had a connection. We shared similar values. I've been on the phone with them probably 5 times now. I already have the form now sitting on my desk, ready to put them in the system. And again, it was simply a matter of connecting on the same values, and then building enough belief and education that we are the right. Because remember, the other part that we're promoting is our community and our team and our system. So as you are talking, especially to professional people, make darn sure that you also you have the strong posture, this incredible posture and strength, and the belief in the community that you're aligned with. That's as big of a selling value, if you will, as our product line and business are, our community and our team. So so many examples there. And I did want to put this slide in here because a number of you have heard those. If you work with me long enough at all, any questions around social media, there's a gentleman that works with all different companies. He has from back when we had AOL Instant Messenger. And I learned these simple little questions. I guess it was about 16, 17 years ago, back when I started in the industry. I started in the industry back in 1992, about more than 20 years ago. But it took me a couple of years kind of struggling and failing and stumbling to finally find my first couple of mentors. And one of those happens to be Max, along with Big Al, Tom Schreider. But I use these questions all the time. Hey, Bethanny, what do you do? Oh, really? What? So you're still doing that now? You've been doing it for 10 years. So what did you do before? Okay. And how long have you been doing what you're doing now with your career? And once you get to know her better as a person, common values, compliment her, you know, Bethanny, with your skill set, it's amazing. Have you ever considered doing something else? And then I I know in the past I was kind of hesitant and nervous to use this question, especially on Facebook and face to face. But I will challenge each of you that if you're scared of the answer, use it, because when you ask this question, are you familiar with network marketing? If somebody has baggage in our industry, why not uncover that and address how we're different up front versus assuming this and assuming that? Why not just come out with it, okay? And when somebody asks you what you do, a lot of times now I will say, I'm a professional network marketer. Are you familiar with it? Or I might say, I'm a business mentor. And they say, really, what kind of business do you mentor people in? I say, I specialize in international expansion. And then one of the keys to strong posture, Bethanny said one of her favorite ones is, I'm in the business where we deal and introduce people to an amazing superfood, organic superfood line, and we're working with other people. So we'll ask her in a moment what her favorite answer to that "what do you do" question is. So there's many ways to handle that. And if you're dealing with health professionals, and I have a lot of health professionals that are in my system when it comes to social media, and I've learned the hard way that early on in the conversation, I'm learning to ask them, are you familiar with isogenics? Because especially if you're engaging with a professional, especially in the holistic field, there's a higher percent of those individuals who have been approached, with or even maybe had experience with isogenics. So why not upfront establish? Because in the past, sometimes, Bethanny, I spent several days, if not a week or two, warming up and connecting and building a relationship with a professional. And 2 weeks into the conversation, realized, oh yeah, they might say, yeah, I'm an isogenics, or they might say, yeah, I was an isogenics and I do 3 other companies. And so there goes several hours, not hours, but it may be 5 minutes at a time. But there goes all that investment, where if you were to ask more upfront in the conversation, you would have saved yourself so much time. So, Bethanny, comments around the little Max method here?
Yeah, I agree with that, Robert. Don't beat around the bush. Share with what you have, book the look, and get to the point.
Yeah, exactly. I know Lori's on the line listening on this webinar. Lori had a fun gentleman come to find out several weeks later, she realized he was recruiting her but he never came out and said it.
No, he just kept saying, oh, have a great day. God bless. Would you mind if I shared with you about my health and wellness? And yeah, so it's funny that, now she can go back and say, wow, I'm also an isogenics. I love it.
I know. And so one of the things I want to remind everybody, because I'm telling myself too, guys, is I'm working on, even, my goodness, 9 years in isogenics and now many years in the industry. I'm still working on being okay with hearing the word "it's not for me" or "no," but what I'm realizing is that in the course of my conversations, is to learn not to be attached to the outcome. And one of the things that I'm embracing more and more all the time is sorting early in the game, finding out whether they have the values, whether the timing is right, or if they had a previous connection with the industry or even with isogenics early on in the conversation, is now saving me a whole lot of time. Okay, so that was one of my challenges to myself and to you on the line listening, is be okay. Don't be attached to the outcome. Remember, there's 1.25 billion with a B people on Facebook alone in this beautiful country of ours. What is it now, guys? About 300 something million people. So, and that's just the U.S., not counting our 10 countries that we're in right now. So again, it's a huge market out there. So Beth and I wanted to cover with you 2 different little metaphors in closing here that will hopefully help you realize and have a healthier mindset and a healthier approach to your business. So Bethany, you and I were chuckling about this slide here on the pre-brief.
We were, Robert. It's definitely more about fishing for the right people than hunting, going out and getting people.
I know. Look at the bottom of the slide, guys. It's this is hopefully if you get this, the business will again be so much easier. Attract people with what they want. Remember, a fish goes after the bait because they want the bait. And also one little reminder: see my fun little rainbow fish in the picture? He's smiling. He's not frowning. That could be a clue right there. Remember, attract people with what they want versus chasing them down with what you want. A hunter is going after an animal that does not want to be bagged, okay, and taken home for dinner. But a fish is actually going after what he wants. I know it's kind of a stretch of the metaphor, but hopefully you get the metaphor. We want to be master fishermen and attract people into our business because they share the values versus they feel like they're anybody. If you feel like you're being hunted down or caught, what are you going to do? You're going to run away. And also on the slide here, this is one of our favorite posts now that we give to a brand new person that just enrolls in our teams. We're sharing with you that you can borrow the story. When you first sign up your next person next week or today, or if you're brand new on this webinar, realize that you can start generating the buzz and put that hook in the water or several hooks in the water starting now today, and you can attract people into your business. But the way to attract them is sharing the real stories, not here's my brand new organic superfood, enzyme rich, incredible, one of a kind, nutrient dense, the best thing that ever hit the planet shake. Okay, here's my link. Go here and buy my shake. That's hunting. Fishing is posting stories like this. Bethany, comments around the difference?
This post is working, Robert. Yeah, I mean, comments about the difference. I think you did a great explanation on both of them. So okay. I don't think I need to go there, but I think this post, guys, use it. Use it for your brand new people. I even have somebody that, decided to post it that didn't even order her pack because she didn't have the funds available to do it. So she decided to post this before she ordered.
And she's generating the buzz. People are coming to her and she's earning the money to then invest in her business. So exactly. I love it. Love it. So this next slide is even a more visual picture. And again, to give credit where credit's due, Susan Sly talks about this a lot. And in the business, you want to be the cat versus the dog. And what's the difference? It's a silly, but my goodness, powerful analogy. When you're around a typical cat, what does the cat do? It brushes. Oh, you feel this gentle brush on your leg, and then out of nowhere you feel it again. Then you start searching for the cat because you're kind of drawn to pet the cat because the cat's being just evasive and just elusive enough, but you really want to. You almost a lot of times I will look around and keep looking around and there's the cat. Let's see if I can actually pet it without him eluding my affection for the cat. So, but what does the big dog do? He glump, 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 poop. And there goes all the saliva and everything else. And he hops up on you. And oh my goodness, you're kind of trying to stand or backing up on the dog. So many newbies in our business do what? Are they the cat or the dog?
They're the dog.
They're the dog. All right. So my simple coaching to you, if you want to be the cat more, just watch this webinar again, and learn to generate curiosity, learn to be more sorting and sifting and determining. Remember, you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. All right. So be the cat versus a dog, and then people will come to you versus backing up and say, oh my goodness. All right. Any other comments, Bethanny, around the cat versus the dog analogy?
I think you said it well, Robert.
I think the visual speaks for itself, guys. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. And I asked Bethanny in the pre-brief, do you want to keep this slide? She says, heavens, yes. So Bethanny, why did you want to really have this slide in the training today?
Because it's just, a lot of people come into isogenics and they think, oh my gosh, I have to learn all the packs and I have to do this and I have to do that. And that's not it, guys. Ignorance on fire is 100 times more effective than knowledge on ice. And let me explain the reason why is mainly because you want to make yourself duplicatable. If you know everything about every product and every pack, and when you're bringing people into the business, they think that they have to be just like you and know everything that you know. So just share your story briefly with passion and then use the tools. And remember, it is all about timing. You need to look for people that are in the looking zone. And it may not be right now, but follow-up is the key, as we talk about in our other modules. Follow up. And, when they say no to you, just continue following up. And when the timing is right, then they will approach you.
I agree. And part of it's building that relationship and showing them that you're real, So awesome, guys. It definitely, it's all about that. We could tell you stories for hours about people from they come on board a month later, a year later, 4 years later, 2 years later, 5 years. So, I mean, my goodness, it's about keeping your message in front of people long enough to where when they're ready, they know where to turn. And in summary, one of the keys to this whole process is becoming masterful at developing relationships. It's no different than your relationship with your significant other, your kids, your loved ones. It's no different in the whole relationship building game when it comes to building your business. Learn how to discover people. What I mean by that is learn how to uncover their values, uncover their whys, uncover what drives them. And you can tell a lot by that with what they post, what they say, and their body language. Okay, compliment people every chance you get. If you want to know the number one way to break the ice with anybody, anywhere, anytime in your business, find a compliment. Man, you look sharp today. How's it going? You just come from the gym. Obviously, my honey and I we work out a lot ourselves, and I respect you for that. So, my goodness, you're so bubbly and positive. What do you do? Okay, guys, so determine the need. Remember in one of the first slides on the webinar today, why not save ourselves so much time and discovering, even if there is a business partner or sale to be made, first and foremost, do they share your values? Are they the kind of person you want to have in your life, much less in your business? And remember, the key is inviting to look. Remember, separate, and this is one of my favorite little lines, separate the invitation from the presentation. One more time, become masterful at separating the invitation from the presentation. Invite and then book the look. Don't do both and be the big dog running and slobbering all over your people. Be the cat. Okay?
I love that line, Robert. Separate the invitation from the presentation. It's a good one, and everybody should just have that written down somewhere to remind themselves of it every day. If I could share one thing, when you talked about determining their needs, the lady I met on the beach yesterday, as I was connecting with her about her family, and they all look like they're in such great shape. I mean, her husband, he looked like a bodybuilder or something. He was in fabulous shape, and she looked incredible for having 5 kids, especially a 1-year-old. She had told me, and I complimented them on that, staying in such great shape with such a busy family, and she had told me that they juiced, and I said, oh wow. I said, kudos to you. I said, I know you get some fabulous nutrients from that, but that is a lot of work. And she said, oh my gosh, sometimes I feel like I'm just constantly juicing. She said, it really is a lot of work. And so that's why I said, oh yeah. I said, I got to show you, what we do. I said, it's just so much easier. So I determined a need where she was sharing, this is something they're doing to try to stay healthy, but yet it's draining her because it's so difficult and challenging for her to, make that happen.
Wow. Yeah, thanks for reminding us of that, the simple steps you do with people to connect with them. So I love it, Bethanny. Thank you. And here's our couple call to actions today, and these are very specific. Is that we're suggesting that we're going to challenge you actually to have a minimum of 2 or hopefully many more conversations where all you do is ask and listen. Then, oh, really? My goodness, well, tell me more. So what were you saying about that? And then ask and then listen some more. So even if it's just the next 2 or 3 days, just picking a couple of conversations out could be with loved ones, much less even way outside of your Unix conversations. Okay, but just practice. All we're saying is start practicing. It is an art. It's a skill too. We know that, but it's more of, I would say it's more of an art actually, and a habit. Is that get in the habit and refine the art and your skill of asking questions and pausing so you can listen to people more effectively. All right. And then the other call to action is call a minimum of 3 people and practice. This is more of a skill set. Practice the skill of uncovering people's strengths. So Bethanny, I just got off this webinar and a couple of my business partners were training on it, and they challenged me to practice my ability to find out what their passions are, what their purpose is, what they love to do, or kind of what they feel your strengths are. So Bethanny, if I were to ask you, just as for my little project that I promised I would do, what if you were taking a survey that asked Bethanny, what 3 main talents and strengths that really help you succeed in life with your family and business, what does that look like? And then listen, and then write them down. So that's one suggestion. Bethanny, any suggestions about how to more effectively accomplish these 2 call to actions?
Well, I think that's a very direct approach, which I love, Robert. I think another way would be to, have the conversations with people on your list, meaning, when you're booking the look and, hopefully you know what book the look means at this point. That means when we're presenting to them, when you're booking the look, all we're supposed to do in the beginning is ask questions and fulfill their needs, find out what their needs are. And at that point is when you can really figure out their strengths as well.
I love it. And that's a good point. That was a very direct example. And as Bethanny said, guys, but I was giving you an example so you can start to weave it in, okay, to those prospecting conversations, as Bethanny was saying as well. And Bethanny, one of our favorite ones is, Bethanny, you and I are on the phone 30 days from today. That question we always ask, what are we going to be celebrating with your health, your body? My goodness. And say we're on the phone, 3 months from now, and my goodness, you have all this abundance and you're changing lives, this money's coming in. So what will you do different then? So again, that's also another fun way to determine kind of what drives and inspires people, guys. Awesome. All right. So again, I don't know about you, but I always learn something every time we do any training, and I've thoroughly enjoyed spending time with you. I always enjoy spending time with my sister in business and changing lives, Bethanny, and she's a key captain. So, hopefully each and every one of you are gaining many different skills and nuggets from our trainings in this foundation series. So again, master the skill of asking the right questions, become more effective at that, and pause and listen, and then realize that this is a journey. Almost all your best people, guys, if I could share one thing from my heart, is realize it's a process. It's all about timing. So Bethanny, any other comments around what we covered today?
Just thank you, Robert, for giving us all the skills and the foundation that we need to be successful.
You're so welcome, my friend. And guys, my little closing thought is from Anne Frank. Hopefully all of you know who Anne Frank is. She was a young girl that survived the Holocaust. Actually, didn't survive it, actually. But anyway, one of little Miss Anne's quotes is, how wonderful it is that nobody need wait even a single moment before starting to improve the world. And my goodness, guys, can we improve the world? You bet. With our gift of health, with our gift of wealth, with our community, with our team, we improve the world by improving our listening, communication, and edifying skills, because we create that legacy with our loved ones. So change a life starting today. We have all the talent, power, intelligence, and money we need right now to step into your dreams, guys. So it's here for you. So again, thanks for stepping up and showing up on your dreams today. Let's keep changing lives. We're so grateful for each and every one of you. And this is module number 4. We have 2 more very exciting modules coming up for you. Please do review this on successteamblog.com as our library keeps expanding there on this training series. And one more closing thought from Miss Bethanny from Kauai.
Well, I have to tell you guys what I've secretly been doing during this entire webinar. I have my binoculars on my desk, and my office looks out at the beautiful Pacific Ocean, and the humpback whales are just going off today. I've seen mamas and babies, and it is just incredible. So every time you're talking, Robert, I'm on my binoculars looking out at the ocean. It's just been such an amazing webinar to be able to help others learn and be able to watch this beautiful ocean called the humpback whale.
Wow, I'm getting goosebumps. So thanks for sharing that. And that's the other side of what this is why we do what we do, guys, is to have the freedom to live a life that you dream about. As Bethanny is an example of that. So I'm going to stop our recording.